Hello and welcome to LFC Focus. Sorry that this post-match video is a little bit late, but I have been very busy and also a little bit ill, hence why I'm drinking this disgusting yellow stuff. Actually, let's give you a look at it. There you go. Absolutely disgusting. Gross. But yeah, I can promise that the post-match reaction video will be back to its normal time slot of pretty much straight after the Liverpool match next week when we play West Ham. But for now, the match against Southampton, in all honesty, if you ask me, it's a result that has been in the post for quite a while because Liverpool have been underperforming for quite a few weeks now. Their attacking has been nowhere near as slick as it was earlier on in the season. They haven't looked creative, they haven't looked cohesive, and we've sort of been getting by in a lot of games through well-worked set-piece goals or world-class finishes. And it seems like all of that luck has finally come back to bite us on the bum in this game because it just simply run out. And maybe on another day, James Milner does tuck away that penalty. It was a very good save from Forster after all. And once again, we're talking about a fantastic result that Liverpool have ground out. Because, I mean, on this channel in the past, with a lot of previous results, I have spoken about how, you know, I don't mind how badly Liverpool perform at this stage of the season as long as we get the 3 points. But once we stop winning games, it does become a problem. Thankfully, because Arsenal beat Manchester United, our Champions League destiny, as it were, is still in our own hands. But Liverpool do need to pick up their performances going into the next few games because there are a lot of glaring problems that have been around a lot in this season, and while there are some obvious solutions for it, for example, the sort of slow build-up play in the midfield where they pass it from side to side and no one's really looking that creative, no one's got that attacking incentive to their play in midfield, will probably be solved by having Adam Lallana in the midfield from the start. I was a bit surprised that Jurgen Klopp didn't start him in this game, because I think in that match it was very important that we had Adam Lallana from the start and his creative influence in midfield. So I imagine he will start the game against West Ham. I think Daniel Sturridge will probably need to start the next 2 games because Divock Origi, while he fits Klopp's system a bit more than Daniel Sturridge, just simply doesn't have the quality in games like this. You know, when you think of teams that should be competing for Champions League spots, you don't really picture Divock Origi as the kind of striker that should be playing for those teams. I still want him at Liverpool. I think he's got great potential, but at the moment I don't think he has what it takes to be our first choice striker, even if that is simply because Sadio Mane is injured at the moment. Ugh. There are a couple of other issues in the game, Jurgen Klopp's late substitutions being one of them, because while in the game against Crystal Palace you could sort of cut him a bit of slack because he didn't have any quality on the bench, when he's got players like Daniel Sturridge and Adam Lallana who, when they play, certainly don't look like they're lacking any sort of match fitness available on the bench, it's a bit strange that he doesn't bring them on much earlier on in the game, like when he brought on Coutinho and Firmino at half-time against Stoke, and that changed the game. And then suddenly he doesn't do the same thing in this game against Southampton when we also needed to change the game at half-time. And instead he only brought them on in about the 65th, nearly the 70th minute. I'd also quite like to see Alberto Moreno getting a go at left-back in the next 2 games, simply because while I think Milner's better in the games against the big teams where there's more defensively asked of him, and Moreno has obviously underperformed in games against big teams like the one against Arsenal at the start of the season or that horrible Europa League final performance last season, in games against smaller teams where his main objective, certainly in Klopp's system, is to attack, I think Alberto Moreno plays pretty well because that is actually what he's best at. And there are a lot of situations where, as I've mentioned before on this channel, Milner cuts inside on the right and then floats a completely non-threatening crossing, whereas you'd much more expect Moreno to try and get to the byline or get in behind the defence and just threaten in a way that James Milner doesn't seem capable of doing. So I would quite like to see Jurgen Klopp shake things up. I think this result could end up being a good thing for us, really, because it's highlighted a lot of problems without actually damaging our Champions League hopes, because obviously the Arsenal result helped out and we managed to avoid losing the game thanks in no small part to the fact that Southampton never really threatened our goal that much in that match. But I think it has alerted Klopp to a lot of issues that hopefully he will look to solve ahead of these last 2 games so we can secure Champions League football. So that's all for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're new around here, follow at LFC Focus TV on Twitter, and I'll be back before you know it for the pre-match video for the game against West Ham at the London Stadium. Bye for now.